Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Belgian Waffle Show. I'm your host, John Hornbeck, and today we're going to have a quick chat with Ted King, who just kind of recently came out with this whole new DIY gravel that's really gaining some traction quick, and it's pretty cool because he's going to do a DIY gravel Belgian Waffle ride edition this weekend. So we kind of like jump on the phone with him real quick. Ted's he's a pretty smart dude, and he's always, kind of looking at what's coming up next. And, he saw a really great opportunity right now to, really get these events kind of back in front of everyone's minds as far as that events that have either been, possibly canceled or postponed, similar to, BWR, because that was supposed to be going on this weekend. So he kind of has this cool new concept of do it yourself. And it's something that everyone can do regardless of where they are. You can upload it. He's got a whole sign up form and everything like that. He's got a lot of sponsors on board that are kicking in, giving out prizes. Very cool because this is a completely free thing that he's doing. It costs nothing to enter and to do it. And it's cool to see the community all come together. If you actually go on Instagram right now, if you look at the hashtag DIY gravel, you can already see people are flooding in with doing their rides and uploading photos, which event they're going to do. And it's cool because right now is a kind of a it's a strange time that we're all going through. A lot of these events are hopefully will be kicking off in the fall, but we really don't have 100% answer on that. So at least we can kind of come together via social or on the internet and do these rides and talk about it. And it's cool that, Ted thought of this and got in front of it and put it in motion. And now he's doing it, and he's going to do BWR this weekend. He's going to make a killer video. We might get him back on the pod to talk about his recap of the ride and how he did it. He's got some pretty cool ideas with linking up with Tim Johnson, who is in Canada. And it's kind of funny how we talk about that, how they're going to do it. So, it was great. We jumped on this quick. I reached out to Ted yesterday and wanted to talk and hear more about this because it's something new and something different let's get into it. And Ted's going to break this down to you, and hopefully we get some DIY gravel BWR editions this weekend. All right, everyone, enjoy.
Cool. Well, wicked. I appreciate you taking the time.
No worries, dude. I mean, obviously right now is an interesting time for everyone. So any time that we can talk or highlight about something cool going on, especially if it involves BWR, we're all for it. So let's just get right into it. What are you doing over there, Ted, with this DIY gravel?
DIY gravel. So the long and short of it is we're here in Vermont. I coincidentally feel busier than ever, and certainly part of that is Laura and I now have a not quite 2-month-old daughter, and parenting is a huge piece of it. But I'm as busy as ever thinking of events and working with my sponsors to produce content and virtual happy hour all day. There's more to be done, obviously, and I think everybody's chomping at the bit. And so taking a general pulse of people riding bikes, knowing that there are a lot of people who are suffering, knowing that there is death going on, and there are a lot of people who are losing jobs and who are really suffering that way. Not in any way being ignorant of that. That's what cycling is great at. It's this outlet. It's a place to sort of put your stress and strain and just go out and let it all hang out. So that was a big piece of it. And then, collectively, there's so many gravel events on the calendar. And as more and more of them are getting pushed later into the year or off the calendar entirely, it stinks to know that there are literally tens of thousands of people who had an event on their calendar and they were excited about it. And then once that date goes by, it's in the rearview mirror. I wanted to celebrate the event date itself. I therefore had this idea. I threw out my calendar and I said, hey, here's the races that I'm doing. Any event, all events generally have multiple distances. So do the short one, do the long one, do anything you want. Submit your ride. I have a bunch of awesome sponsors. They can help support it and throw swag and product and some pretty damn impressive product back at you all. DIY gravel. It is celebrating a gravel season that may or may not happen.
So this is something that obviously anyone can do. They go sign up. We're like before, I mean, we're going to break it down and everything, but like, where are people signing up? I imagine it's going through your stuff. Does it cost anything? Is there like anything like that going on? Just like all the basics on how to do it.
Sure. So quick, simple, easy, free. Go to iamtedking.com/DIY gravel. There are a handful of bullet point rules right there at the top. The rules are as simple as we ask for your name, your email address, and then a place that you're going to upload the ride just to verify that you did the right distance. And as I am the judge of this contest, if you have a cool story that corresponds with your particular ride, we might reward that. Let me think. There's a Strava club, which is a component, and not to confuse things, but the point is you can't purely join the club and I'm tracking there because then I don't have your email address and I can't be in communication with you because the Strava clubs are just sort of this nebulous, funny thing. Anyway, yeah, it's literally as simple as iamtedking.com/DIY gravel. Enter your name, email address, and your ride, and then you're in the running. We're looking at a calendar now where I just did the first one of the year, Rasputitsa, a week ago. I had 750 people sign up and over 1,300 entries because people can submit a ride of the appropriate length as many times as they want over the course of the week. And so, yeah, we had a heck of a lot of entries. BWR is this weekend, and if all things were normal, I'd be out in San Diego getting ready for that. But that means I'm prepping for my Belgian waffle ride right here from Vermont.
So, yeah, okay. So, like, let's kind of like give an example as far as like, everyone, someone's listening to this right now, like, okay, how do I do this and that? Like, you're going to do BWR this weekend. Mm-hmm. How are you going to go about and do that?
So,
because you're not in San Diego.
Right. What made it really cool to launch it last week at Rasputitsa was that is one of very few events that I'm going to be able to go to literally from my front door. So I went and in Rasputitsa, they gave me the course and I rode the course. And that was super cool. And we created a video about it. And that's just basically echoing the message. So now, fast forward to this week, I'm at BWR here in Vermont. And that means I'm looking at the course. I'm familiar with how long it is, how much climbing there is. The climbing is not mandatory. The distance is the key component piece. So of course we got the waffle, we got the wafer, and then this year there is the Wana ride of 36 miles. So all you got to do is ride 36 miles this week. And then, what this whole thing is meant to do is go explore and get out rather than be cooped up inside absolutely mandatorily, so long as local ordinances allow you to do that. So we're up in northern Vermont. Tim Johnson is over the border in Canada because his wife is Canadian, and that's where he's been hunkered down for this craziness. We got pretty lax borders here, and certainly you are not allowed to cross the border, but my ride that I have mapped out is 139 miles to go ride to the border. I will tell Tim where I am throughout the day. He's going to ride to the border. We're going to wave at each other, and then I'm going to ride home. So that's my BWR. Awesome. If you're in San Diego County and you're familiar with the course, I don't know if this is allowed, but go ride the course or go ride your favorite loop if you're in San Diego County or anywhere throughout the gosh darn country or world.
So this per se, this isn't more so of like, hey, like we're going to reward people who have like done it the fastest or that have won it. Because obviously everyone's doing their different things. I was curious about the climbing thing. Cause like, let's say someone in Florida right now, they're not going to go find 13,000 feet and 130 miles. No, and if they do, that's you're going to be going up a lot of stairs.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, how does, how are you just kind of like picking people on like cool rides? Is it random? For like, as far as like, if someone's getting some prizes off of this or like maybe how they share it via social is a cool story. Like, how do you kind of like tell the difference?
Sure. I'll start with that last piece because that's been really cool. You talked about the social. The concept DIY gravel did not exist 11 days ago. Like this is all very new. That's incorrect. Let's call it 2 weeks ago. It didn't exist. And then I thought of the idea and I kind of liked the name and I threw it out there. There are so many people. If you go to Instagram right now and type in the hashtag DIY gravel, there are, I think, 200 some odd posts that have happened in the past week. And the number of stories are just like pouring through the IG. So that has been so cool. And I see a bunch of Strava rides being titled hashtag DIY gravel. Correct. The altitude, the elevation is not mandatory, because we certainly sympathize with our friends in Florida. Like that would just be impossible. And then there's other places that like you'd almost have to ride a shorter distance because you're going to already exceed the elevation. So elevation is recommended, not mandatory. It can happen indoors and outdoors. It can happen on gravel roads or paved roads. Basically, when I say upload your ride, it's as simple as copying, pasting a link. So be it from Strava, from Garmin Connect, from Komoot, from Ride with GPS, like whatever your software is. And then all of this data is getting thrown into a spreadsheet that I have. And so then I just literally have it in order. I say from the last one, there's 1,332 entries. You type in Google random number generator and you get, I pick as many prizes as I have and I hit random number generator as many times as I have prizes, and I have their contact, so I immediately contact them, put them in touch with the sponsor, and get set up with some really cool stuff. And then
nice, that's awesome.
The cool like side story. So right, like as I said, I'm the chief operator of this, and the only place that I've bent the rule was I picked a ride where the person did not ride the shortest distance, because last week at Rasputitsa, the shortest distance is 44 miles. And this person uploaded a ride. I think it was 19 miles. But the title of the ride was, I went for my first ever gravel ride with my daughter. And like, it was so rad. It just tugged at my heartstrings. And I've been in communication with the guy since then, like back and forth, half dozen emails or so. And he was psyched, and his daughter is already psyched about the next ride that they're going to go on. And like, I can't say, sorry, I picked your number and you're not going to win. Like it's too good.
Yeah, this is gravel. It's about having fun. It's not like the serious rodeo where like, oh, you didn't follow the one rule.
Bingo. You got it.
No, that's awesome. So who do you have on partnered with as far as like what kind of sponsors you're working with, prizes that are going out?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm sort of busier now than ever. And a lot of that is the cycling industry looking for things to do. How do you occupy time? How many virtual happy hours can you do? Can you host? Can you be part of? Instagram takeovers, Instagram lives, like those are all very valuable, but we're all looking for more things to do. So basically I talked to all my sponsors and I'm like, hey, are you guys all on board to help support this? And they're stoked as they look for content. I mean, shoot, we got written up in Velo News yesterday. Like in this era of not much news, it's been really cool. So let me quickly drop some sponsors because they're rad. SRAM.
Yeah, name plug it.
SRAM and Zip, of course. Velocio Clothing. Ingamba Cycling Tours. Renee Hare's Tires. Ceres of Bike Rack and Indoor Trainer fame. A lot of people are riding indoor trainers these days. Roka. It was good timing. They just released their new Matador sunglasses. And of course, my friends at Cannondale are outstanding. So there's no end in sight, right? Like we don't know what's happening with the 2020 calendar. Maybe we're racing in July. Maybe we're racing in July 2021. They've been on board initially with a whole lot of swag and some way better than swag stuff. But I've been tossing out the idea, like, can we make this sort of snowball to a massive giveaway at the end of the year? Like give away a Ted King head to toe, bikes, drivetrain, indoor trainer, wheel set, the full complete setup. And they're, especially as more and more events get pushed back, like they're completely on board. So come be like an I Am Ted King get up and wear and ride and use exactly what I do.
Yeah, dude, we can all just just join the team. So there is no end date to this as far as like, are you doing this as like an event by event basis? Like, hey, like this weekend we're doing BWR, so like most everyone needs to like turn in the BWR one, and then are you gonna wait till maybe the next event that might have been pushed, or are you just gonna be like, hey, next weekend we're gonna do X event? Like How is that going about?
Terrific question. It's the idea now is that it hinges off my schedule. And I mean, I think like talking to you, John Hornbeck, you can appreciate that it's sort of funny that we announce gravel schedules these days. Like, I find that awkward.
Oh, how the times have changed.
My goodness, right? Like you and I are having a good laugh about that. So a gravel schedule in this era in which we live is a thing. And I put my schedule out in probably January this year. Maybe it was even last year. I forget when I put it out. But point is, my schedule's there. I am tedking.com/schedule. You can see the events that are really highlighting what my 2020 was all about. As soon as I announced this and it was catching some momentum, a lot of events reached out and said, "Hey, can you throw my event on your calendar? Can you have it join what other people are doing?" And, you know, obviously for promotion, and I completely appreciate what they're doing, there's a lot of back end legwork. Like, it is not as simple as event A, 3 people win prizes, connect winners to prizes. Like, there's a boatload of work that goes into it. So it probably will.
Yeah, you're virtually the middleman.
Yeah, completely. And then like content creation. Shoot, we just created this big video from Rasputitsa, and we got another one that's coming up with BWR. Like, there's no shortage of work that goes into it. So long story short, yeah, it's a fluid DIY calendar. I mean, we know that Dirty Kanza has already postponed their event. So like right now we're looking as far as the very end of May, and who knows from there.
So are we, so this week you're going to do BWR, and I imagine, are you looking at making a video on it? Is it like, if you do, like, is it going to be like how do you see, like, you know, obviously you do really well with the content. You know, you work with, you have Ansel working with you, who does great stuff. Like, you know, let's just say, like, what kind of story are you trying to tell this weekend with BWR? Are you going to try to show, like, you racing through it really hard, or just kind of the fun stuff, maybe grab some waffles? Like, what's, like, yeah, I want to kind of see, like, what's going on
Sure.
right now.
So edition 1, it was cool because I actually got to ride the Rasputitsa course. And so we made it sort of a breakdown of like, hey, come event day, this is what the course is going to be about. Here's a section or two that I'm going to try to give it some stick. This is Rasputitsa. Obviously, I'm not riding an actual BWR course in Vermont. So the idea is 139 miles is a massive undertaking, especially without the benefit of other riders and the draft and a peloton and all that.
That's a good point right there, actually, to think about, without the other riders.
Doing the math, I haven't done a 139-mile ride.
I didn't think about that
in a really, really, really long time.
Especially on a lot of
Oh, man. So that said, I know I am capable and fit to do it. Again, Laura is 8 weeks postpartum. Like, we had a child not very long ago, and as much as we are sleep deprived, we're finding time to ride a bike. It's been incredibly cool to see the following that Laura has created amid her entire pregnancy. Like, you know, this is a girl who's been on the podium at BWR. She has a full-time job. She has a separate career that, you know, does not allow her to ride her bike like a professional, but she has the legs to ride as a professional. So she's created this following as an active pregnant woman and now as an active mother. And she's been riding quite a bit. And the goal is to have her ride the 139 miles, admittedly on a separate day, because according to the rules, she's got a week to do it. And she's smart to do that because the weather is not looking so great up here in Vermont come BWR day. So, you know, the thought right now is, and we can work through some iterations, focus a small fraction on my ride and focus on like how we are doing it as the King family with Laura, with Hazel. How do I support her? Because like, whether or not the camera's on me, this is how our life is. And this is how so many people's lives are who ride a bike. Like 99.9999999% of people who are riding BWR or any of these gravel events, they're not professionals. They're people with families and lives and so many things going on at home. So how do you juggle it all? So that's the current thinking. I mean, yeah, shoot. The first King of the Ride DIY video was very entertaining for me because I was really anxious to see what Ansel could do when I'm the only person on camera. There's not a roving cast of characters like there would be at a traditional event. There's not a dynamic race taking place. So like, how do you tell a story? And Ansel is just so talented at seeing an event and seeing a story and letting it come out in a 10-minute video that it's just awesome to be part of.
So is that like the duration you're kind of shooting for? Is like these are going to be around 10 minutes?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
so?
give or take. He
So a little longer.
He did, I forget, 8 videos for me last year at basically my 2019 calendar, and they're as short as I think 8 minutes and as long as 22 minutes. So yeah, it could be. There's always an overabundance of content, and like how do you bring it down to that deliverable, entertaining length?
Yeah, I think though with like that's a big difference from, you know, if you keep it with a 1 to 2 minutes, it's kind of more of like, I guess you can almost say like an Instagram highlight banger, but you start getting to that 8 to 12 to 15. That's actually more of like a story narrative, like, you know, I'm not gonna say feature film, but like it's actually like getting to like a, you know, that kind of like for YouTube or social, like more of a movie style, which is awesome because that's kind of more of a rarity as far as what we're seeing nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, head to our dear listener, go to Instagram. I am Ted King. We've got the teaser from last week. It's like, you know, a nice minute-long video, and then that'll take you to the YouTube. And shoot, I think he's knocked it out of the park. So, and I mean, you know, then go scroll my YouTube channel. Like he has a outstanding BWR from last year with 60,000 views on it. I mean, it's been popular. Nice. And shoot, like literally, I could see my analytics as soon as the lockdown started to happen, like early March. Boom. The views just popped enormously. Like people want events, you know, we obviously want what we can't have, especially when we're stuck at home and can't do these events. So it's like, you know, it's not the complete and total answer, but it certainly does fill a void.
Oh yeah. I mean, anything that can't exactly fill that void is going to be, you know, monumental. But yeah, today we'll show on social, on our end, the BWR end, like all, you know, the last one you did. And then, you know, we'll probably even maybe next week do like a little throwback to the BWR video that Ansel Bay just said, like you said, keep that content going and just give them what people want. But, you know, just to sum it up real quick, how has everything been on your end during this, you know, interesting time, these last, I guess you can say 4 to 6 weeks?
You know, if there's ever time to set a new normal when you have a child, it's to do it during a global pandemic. We're tremendously blessed. Like we got home from the hospital on, I don't even remember. Hazel was born March 8th. I guess that means we got home on the 10th. And basically that is when the pandemic started. Like it was a perfect timeline for us to get home, and then lockdown began. So, you know, the day revolves around Hazel. It thankfully she's at a state in life. This is our first child that she's very peaceful, and she can basically hang out by herself asleep for most of the day, and that allows us to get a whole lot of work done. Yeah, shoot, man, it's busy. It's very busy. It's operating with sponsors. It's figuring out what sponsors want to tell a story amid a very strange time. I'm a co-owner of Untapped, so you know we're a small business in the athletic sports nutrition world. So you know, trying to keep that company, I don't want to say keep it afloat. I mean, there's a bunch of new challenges, and we're actually doing very well right now. So I mean, that's a really interesting aspect of the day to day. Laura and I own a gravel event ourselves with Rooted Vermont, and so that is the first weekend in August. And you know, we're at a state that we haven't had to make a decision on where to pivot from here, and we're taking a whole lot of conversations into consideration. And but you know, in the meantime, you have to operate as business as usual. So busier than ever, exceedingly happy, tired as hell, and you know, can't wait to get back to a regular normal instead of just a new normal.
Yeah, right. I think the regular normal will be slightly adjusted though, actually,
for sure,
from here on out.
Yep.
But Well, cool, man. I'm stoked on this. I'm excited to see like after this weekend what it brings. We're gonna start highlighting this a lot more. I'm putting it out there. I'm actually gonna put this up today so we can get it out there
Sick.
ASAP. But yeah, maybe after we get through this week or two, the video comes out, we maybe do a little recap on like the DIY gravel BWR
Totally.
edition and kind of just follow up on it and kind of get your thoughts on how it went, and we can talk about the video and XYZ, because obviously we're all just looking for more content and more things to talk about. So I feel like that could be a good one to follow up on.
This was very easy. Like, I'm doing so many of these things that are like a big formal event. You got to schedule it out and make sure you have like an hour buffer on either end and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is as easy as I've ever done a podcast. So thank you.
Yeah, that's my motto. I like to get it as easy as that and just knock it out, and we're good.
Perfect.
So okay, well, hey man, much appreciated. I'm stoked you're doing this. You're always doing cool stuff,
Thanks,
Ted.
man.
And hopefully I see you sooner than later.
Yeah,
it's been a bit.
no doubt.
So yeah, dude, and congrats on everything on your end. Being a father now and stuff. That's awesome. Tell Laura hi. And
awesome.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Absolutely will. Yeah. Thank you very much, John. I really appreciate it.